What is up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Bobbyfi here, and I'm waiting until Sheets comes and joins me. We're going to talk through the MLB slate. We're going to talk a little not DK, sorry, NBA, and we're going to get through everything. It's the NBA slate. Obviously, it's a little small one, so we shouldn't have a ton of time on it. But we're happy to talk to you. I'll talk you through my plays, and I'm happy to answer any questions, of course, with everything that we're doing overall today. This is an interesting slate for baseball, to say the least. The Dodger game is obviously a pretty relevant factor, especially with the weather the way it is. Heaney definitely is an interesting option, I guess. As of right now, I'm sort of just not touching it, but I'm also worried about the late game possibility of maybe only getting 6 in, which hurts the hitters. So I'm just worried about a lot of things with that game. So that's where I'm at. I am wearing my LA hat. I probably should throw one lineup in just in case. Maybe I will. It depends on how much Sheets can take over while he gets here. Anyway, I'm going to talk through like my favorite stacks. I was really high on Milwaukee early in the day. I still like them, but when I see some of the ownerships going around for teams that I think are in good spots, I have really, really want to go different directions. So I am going to be very heavy on Houston. That's going to be a low-owned one. I am not buying in about Mad Bum overall, especially with his pitch type against Altuve, Bregman specifically. But even guys like Gurriel, Alvarez, even if they play Diaz or McCormick, there's a lot of ways you can get different with the stack. But I think the guys you really want to try to focus on are Bregman and Altuve. Next thing I'm going to jump to, which is more of a secondary stack, although I do have one full whole game stack. You have really good hitting weather in New York. We don't get that much good hitting weather early in the season. It's just really solid. So I think we should be getting exposure to both offenses. Favorite plays would be on Toronto. The number one would be Springer, I guess, considering everything. And on the Yankees, it would be Judge, then Donaldson, then Stanton. But I like all three of them. And I think you're going to get low ownership on these guys, especially Stanton. I don't think anybody's playing. But I really like the idea of getting some exposure here without necessarily fully committing to a game stack. If you are going to stack either side, I think maybe the Yankees are a little better to stack. But I also do want to. Oh, I wanted to mention I do like Chapman. I'm going to be taking shots on Chapman at like 1%, 2%, and even as a one-off batting seventh. He's just when he's playing against a lefty, it's obviously a huge stadium upgrade everywhere he plays, basically, because he's been playing in a nightmare stadium in Oakland for hitting. So I'm going to take my shots on guys like Chapman. The other one that's a more popular one that I do like, but again, hard for me to find the full stacking. I literally like 3 plays, and then I guess you make Matt Stassi your fourth, and you can play 4-man stacks. I do want to point out that early on, a shocking number of non-4-man, 5-man stacks are winning everything. And what's really shocking about it, it's not so crazy. The 5-man stack should win like 80% of the tournaments because 80% of the people plus play them. So just interesting to note when everything else is going a different direction, and that you're going to see more of that early in the season, something to take advantage of, because people are going to be the more pitchers that pitch in a game that are actually like scheduled for their innings, the worse it is. If you have a bullpen game, isn't a great spot to attack. But so early in the season, that it just speaks to why I sometimes even go away from stacking, in addition to all my other reasons. Having said that, I do have a 5-man stack in my main build on DraftKings tonight. I do have of my 2 FanDuel ones, I have a 3-3-2 and a 4-2-1-1. And still, though, I just think that you should get some mix in of some non-full stacks in your lineups. I know a lot of people like to script. I personally think that getting a little bit of that into a little bit of your script is a good idea. If you're not scripting, I think it's an interesting way to play, especially single entries and 3 entries at this time of the year, but even the big fields as well. Sheets is here, so I'll just finish up real quick if you don't mind, Sheets. I'm just gonna say, and then I really like the St. Louis situation, and I think especially like on FanDuel where their prices are so high and more expensive than all these other targetable hitters, I don't see how they can end up being that popular. I understand that the spot people will want to attack and they've been good, but I just don't think they're going to have ownership probably on either site. So that would be another one for me to attack. So the good thing for me I have tonight is that my favorite stacks are not very high owned. Now, that's partly the reason why I'm stacking them, but I have great offenses as my 4 main pieces to attack. And the only one that has some ownership is the Angels. And even that one, I'm not looking as much at a full stack as I am a 2-man, 3-man, something like that. Sheets, what are you doing tonight? And then we'll get into pitching, I guess. But what sort of stands out for you?
First of all, some scheduling thing, Bobby. I presume that you're on board with this. So I have to go out and pick up food and bring it back. So to ensure that I'm back for the 8 o'clock, I'm going to leave here a little bit early.
Okay, that's fine.
I presume you want me for the 8 o'clock more than for the last 15.
Yeah. I mean, I think the last 15 minutes, we know how this goes.
Yeah.
It's not a whole bunch of surprises.
So that's fine. And you also saw my note about I did free up some availability tomorrow if that works for the other thing.
For the Sabres, we could say that one. Yeah, we're going to go through that. I just think it's better if we do it together. The problem is, I think it holds us up for some of the things we want to do, because I spend so much time going back and forth with people on things that I don't know about specifically, and it would be great if we just had like a video going through it with them. And not only that, I would learn a lot from it too. So
I'll tell you, it would be a good video of me walking you through it too. That'd be even.
That's what this would sort of be, though. It'd be a combination of that. That's why I thought it'd be great to have you, because also we're gonna have this video and promote this video because.
And you know what? If the video with the Sabres in turns out to suck, then we'll just do our own. Whatever.
Yeah, no matter what, of course, and we'll constantly be whenever we need to update things, we'll be doing that.
All right, so let me tell you where I am. And again, if this contradicts what I said earlier, too bad. So in my first of all, for the pitching, I am ending up after all of that Martin Perez talk, not playing him. I'm going to be playing a great amount of Yu Darvish. I'm going to be playing as my SP1. The SP2, I'm kind of like spread out a little bit. I have Dakota Hudson. I have Pablo Sandoval. I even have a little bit of the Luis Garcia. And I do have, as much of Luis Garcia I have, I also did get to the Eric Lauer. So for me, in addition, I have like 10% Kikuchi, which is just to be a little bit different. And that's so pitching for me is not particularly earth-shattering. As far as the other stuff, the hitting goes, I'm still on Texas, but the team that I am on as well, which really, really makes me cringe, is the opposite of Texas, and that would be Colorado. I don't know how or why I'm doing this, but I think I might be playing Colorado on the road. So that's kind of where I'm at as my two kind of main ones that I'm going to be rooting on is the Texas. Excuse me. Is Texas and the Colorado coming out of the same game. So hopefully, like we said, hopefully the park and or the umpires cooperate for me.
The umpire is not a great one for you for stacking that game. It's a good pitcher's ump, and to go to the Sandoval, who I was going to switch everything over to before, it's worth noting in that game, Alfonso Marquez, who's an extreme hitters umpire, is there. But just keep it in mind.
Why do I have to even log on? I mean,
it's not. Look, it doesn't mean you have to do anything. I'll what I did though.
Let me give you something else that I have about 25% of stack wise. It's something I said kind of as a last thing before we logged off of the early one. I said what I'd be doing kind of like in me stuff. I'm playing a bunch of Baltimore just because I have nothing better to do. That's actually not true, but I am getting to a bunch of Baltimore. Some of these Baltimore stacks is like the whole outfield. I got Mullins, Hayes, and Mancini all together. It's not not for the week. Actually, it's not the big deal. They're probably going to just get singles and double and not do anything, but whatever. So that's what I have in MME that might be earth shattering. So my main stacks are Texas and Colorado and the what's his name and what I said and Baltimore. And I'm kind of chalky at pitching, so we'll see what happens.
As they say, somebody has to win it, right, Chief?
Yeah,
we're on very different pages here.
That's right. Hopefully one of us is going to win, I think.
Yeah, I do have a 5-man stack in my main lineup on DraftKings and my big one, but I don't have it in a lot of my other ones over there. I have a lot of 4-2-2s, and I have some 3-2-2, 3-3-2s. Because I just was trying to point out that a lot of these winning lineups that happened earlier in the year are not necessarily these full stacks. And what's crazy is that they should win 80% of the time or higher because most people are playing them. And if that's not the case, if other people are winning, and it's happening left and right, I've been seeing it all over the place. I think it's worth taking some shots, especially in single and 3 entries, and not doing the stacking, which is what I was saying before. Again, I still have it in my main one on DraftKings, and one of my 2 on FanDuel has a 4-man stack. The other one's a 3-2. I just think that you're getting pitchers coming out early with scheduled guys behind them just pitching 1 inning it's like trying to attack a bullpen game, but with good starting pitchers or better starting pitchers than usual for a bullpen game. It just is not. That's sort of like how everybody's playing right now. So the pitchers that I like, because I didn't go through mine yet, I guess would be Darvish and Hudson are my main guys on DraftKings.
Okay. Well, we're on the same page there at least.
Yeah, nothing special. They're the chalk, and I'm going to eat it. I'm still too worried to play Andrew Heaney about this weather.
That game's gone. I'm presuming that game doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's weird, though, because like if you look at a couple of things, there's people still playing it, projecting it as if it does. I do think it's really interesting, though, that the highest strikeout prop on the slate is Darvish at 5.5, and the only other guys with the same prop is Sandoval and Luzardo. So even with the bad the negative umpire, I think I still would like to take shots on both of those pitchers, especially like Luzardo's going to be unowned. He's 7,300 with the highest strikeout prop on the slate against a team full of mostly guys we don't even care at all about, just because there's 3 good hitters at the top. And I like those 3 hitters, but I'm going to definitely hedge and have some Luzardos. And I've actually got him like almost 20% on DK. That's a great spot to try to get a little different. And I have so much of the chalky pitchers elsewhere, but I'll use him where I'm using my slightly chalkier stack, which I'll use the pitcher with the stack. You know what I mean? Like I'll use Luzardo where I'm not Luzardo. I'll use help me out, Sandoval, where I'm playing the Angels, and where I'm not playing the Angels. Obviously, I'll play Luzardo. But my stacks are my secondary stacks. I think that you really want pieces of the Toronto-New York game. The hitting weather is just like much better than most places in the world right now, and it's much better than it usually is for the Yankees. And you have 2 of the arguably the best offenses in the American League. I would say maybe I don't think it's a whole lot of other teams that are going to dispute that. And yeah, the pitchers are fine, but if no one's going to play if people aren't going to play that much of the hitting, especially on the Toronto side, because I think you'll get some ownership on the Yankee side. I mean, just remember, it might be a year removed from it, but George Springer is a career lefty just crusher. They just Guerrero, Bichette, Teoscar. I love Matt Chapman, Donaldson on the other side with Judge, who are going to have some ownership, but then you get the unowned Stanton. I just think they make for really
Why
nice.
Why does nobody play Stanton?
Because there's just too many guys to play in the outfield.
Oh, okay.
And at the same price, they're at a close enough price, they're going to play Judge ahead of them.
That makes sense.
So the other thing is that I really like I do like the Angels, but I don't know how to get the full stack that I want. I don't mind if you throw Stassi in as a 4-man, but I'll be probably treating it as a 4-man stack for me. And that's even more than I wanted. I really just want Ohtani, Rendon, and Trout, to be honest. And I love St. Louis. I think St. Louis is going to be really low owned. I was on this earlier today. We could have differences of, people could talk about Lynch, and there's been some signs at times of good things. I like the way these guys have started off the year. I like this all the good righty power that they have. But O'Neill, Goldschmidt, Arenado, specifically, those would be my 3 favorites. And you can mix in Edman and Carlson. And I just don't think you're getting much ownership on that stack. So I really am excited about that. And my number 1 stack right now on DK that I have that don't see a whole lot of people playing is Houston.
Yeah. What about the guy that I put as my screen name for this thing? Is that guy play? I mean,
Pena? We don't know. We don't have a lineup yet. So I mean, he could we've seen this with Houston before that you think a guy's going to bat second or first and they've been batting ninth. So might be less appealing if he's batting ninth.
Okay.
But you'd assume they would probably bat him second, but we're just speculating. And if he's not, that means a guy like Aledmus Diaz or Chase McCormick is, and I would take shots on those guys at their prices if that was the case. So that's sort of overall what I'm doing, guys. I'd love to hear what any questions, pop them in the chat, talk about the things in Discord. I know that Nick Nelson really wants us to talk about the game in the basketball games. So drop on your hey, Rhodey's with me on Houston. All right, Rhodey, let's go, buddy. We're never on the same page on these things. We always win on the other ones bad nights. Except for in basketball. We seem to hit the right ones in basketball quite a bit. All right, let's talk. So I'll talk some hoops, Sheets, if that's okay with you.
Go for it.
Until we have any other questions.
I have to fire an email off to my tech guy about something. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about basically there's a lot of guys to spend up on, obviously, and there's not a lot of value. I don't think this is anything that's brand new for anyone. I'm going to start on FanDuel because we don't necessarily always give enough attention to FanDuel. So FanDuel's a little different. I'm not really thrilled with playing Reggie Jackson at this price, but I totally get it. I'm sorry, this ownership. He's 5,700, which makes him look like a absolute lock. I was looking for a way to try and fade it. I think he and Karis LeVert are both great plays, obviously, but like at the ownership, it's kind of worth thinking about. Do we want to maybe take a little bit of a different direction? The natural thing you'll want to do on FanDuel, it'll try and force you into a build with at least like 3 or 4 Minnesota players, maybe even, probably at least 4. And that's okay. I'm just saying that you might want to try to find ways to get different if that's what you're going to do, because those guys are going to be really popular. Karl-Anthony Towns, Patrick Beverley. It's pretty easy to see the chalk build over there. Even Jared Vanderbilt, who's one I'm happy to take a shot on just fading completely. And then all the other pricing is just like, it's meh. You know what I mean? Over there, it's tricky. It's the guy who I'm going to take a shot with is Kevin Love. I understand playing him over marketing at only a $400 price gap, and that's why he won't be owned on DraftKings is a way to go, is a weird thing to do. But I really like Kevin Love to try and get some slightly lower ownership on anybody. I'm going to play some Okoro because of the value, and I think he's going to play a lot of minutes. I'm going to, on FanDuel, pay up for Durant as a slight preference over Kyrie, but I think they're both really good plays. I think it's really hard to not play Darius Garland, and I think it's really hard not to play the LeVert Reggie Jackson thing, but I would encourage you if you're playing large field tournaments to try to get a little bit away from it. Some of the other guys that are going to be weird plays that may not see, even like Marcus Morris is showing up for some ownership right now. Malik Beasley, and there's a path for him. A guy who I'm going to take some shots with is Nicholas Batum. I think you could see more minutes out of him in this game against Minnesota here. And they could run it a bunch of different ways, like the Clippers. So it's kind of hard to, but I at least feel like betting on a guy who's 3,900 projected to play 20 minutes and still be like okay-ish. I'll take a shot on him playing more minutes because I think that's very possible tonight. So and Kennard being gone opens up a little bit, although Norman Powell being there, and he's only projected at that's something weird to do on both sides. If you really
what about Norman Powell?
I think that, I just don't think that we think he's going to play more than 24 minutes. But if he does play, I think it makes a lot of sense. The guy who no one's getting a projection on is Seth Curry, and somehow I found him in my main builds on both DraftKings and FanDuel. So that's sort of how I have the FanDuel one treated, and then we'll talk with Sheets, get Sheets' thoughts on this stuff, but I'm just going to run through my DraftKings. On DraftKings, it's really hard because you're trying to decide between, they're all tremendous plays at the top, but Paul George versus Darius Garland versus Kyrie, with that little gap between all of them, is one I've really struggled with. Like, I think I'm leaning George at the moment, but I don't feel great about it. It feels wrong not to play Darius Garland to me tonight. I don't know. I'm struggling with it a little bit. I'm also can mix up my lineup and do some other things. I really like Mobley, especially. I think he's a great player playing both sides, actually. But yeah, I'm just trying to figure out a build that makes sense. And I like taking shots on guys like Drummond. I like Curry. Obviously, Bruce Brown is the chalk for good reason on DraftKings. Same thing with Beverly. And I think playing Russell on one of the sites is an interesting way to get off some of the cat chalk. Sheets,
I think one of the things you could do tonight. It's a 2-game slate. You could do some funny stuff with salary. To get different. You could set, max 49.5 or something like that.
Good luck. It's really hard to find the salary as it is. I have Isaac Okoro as a near lock. He scored 5 fantasy points against this team last time in a game that mattered.
Oh, Jesus. Well, that's Isaac Okoro, man. 40 minutes and 8 fantasy points is certainly in the cards.
Yeah, and you never know though. Brooklyn doesn't exactly play a lot of defense in transition. He could get out a couple times, and there's always that steal block potential with against this team especially. So I'm willing to take a gamble on a guy who I know at least will play the minutes. Whereas Vanderbilt, who's going to be more popular and clearly a better play, I guess you'd say. I don't know, put quotation marks around that one. I don't know. I'm going to go with the Okoro thing. I think for a super crazy large field tournament, I think there is a path where what if Brooklyn is up a bunch and you can take shots on Rondo, and they play Rondo in the
Oh,
back.
wow. That's interesting.
It's a really long shot play, but I'm thinking about people who are not just playing the $15 because it's a $100K for first, or the $20. But it's if you want to win a tournament, plays like that might stand out and make a little bit of sense, because it's really hard to get too different at the top. And then the bottom guys are sort of obvious, but if you play him, and I mean, it might make you sick to do it, but I think playing Patty Mills would be another one that you could get a little bit weird with.
Yeah, just so you got, I mean, in transparency, not that anybody cares, but I'm not playing a big lineup in the slate. I'm just going to play like a bunch of lotteries and just hope I get lucky. I mean, I really don't have a big strong opinion on anything. That I would take a big stand on anything that's low owned tonight. I just don't see anything. So, but I'm playing.
Well, those are a couple that I gave you. You know what I mean? Like if you're
yeah.
You could mix in plays like that. There's paths for those guys,
Dude, you know what
really
I'm messing with the NBA gods. I mean, I'm just screwing around. This is how I win the whole thing. That's what happens.
Yeah, that's right. There you go. I do like Drummond as a low owned option. And the thing is, the Love versus Markkanen argument is tough because, well, let me just double check. Did I miss something here? Why do I have this Markkanen? Yeah, there it is. I mean, Markkanen is going to look like a significantly better play, and I'm not even disputing that. Like, I actually think there's room for him to even play more. There's room for all these guys too. All it takes is one guy getting two fouls. I personally think they're going to tighten up the rotation a little bit, and I just am interested in taking shots on Kevin Love at low ownership. But Markkanen is clearly the answer, as if you just want a guy who's going to have the better game more often here. It's definitely Markkanen. Probably a lower floor with a lot, with 3 times the ownership, but so you can do that with what you will. I threw in Rondo. What's that? Wait, what's up, WW Fresh? Good to see you, man. I threw in Rondo today. I do like. I do think he's a long shot tournament play. There's Nick. He's drunk. Oh, he's stuck in North Dakota with 2 feet of snow, man. Good luck to you. I understand. I would probably be having some whiskey myself. So next time I'm stuck in 2 feet of snow in North Dakota and somehow we're near each other, I'll join you. All right, Sheets. So you don't have a particular standout for you in the NBA?
Not really. I might even play just to play. I might even play the showdown, the Minnesota showdown.
Yeah, I still think the ownership and projections on Reggie Jackson seem high to me. I'm going to throw out some other things. So I'm going to try to do less of that. I'm going to try to do less of the Vanderbilt, which is tough because that means basically like I'm picking out Okoro over Vanderbilt, which obviously doesn't feel great. I just am betting on the minutes in not a must win, but not an elimination game, but an important, obviously a big game to win. Yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody would rather play Memphis than Phoenix, and I'm sure everybody would rather play Boston than Miami. At least I would. Maybe not as much though. That's the one thing Cleveland had. That's just thinking a little bit. Maybe they do keep a tight rotation because it's not really a bad I don't know. I'm trying to think about that. They have to. They can't be playing these 14 and 18 minute projections. We don't need to play 10 players on this kind of a game. You know what I mean? Like, it's just throwing me off a little bit. Rajon Rondo may not play a minute. I'm going on the weird Darius Garland picks up 2 fouls and they're down by 20 early or something. That's when he gets to run. It's just a wild card play. I mean, that's what you're going to have to. Who in a wild situation could get some run on these guys? And to me,
all right, this is what I'm gonna do. If you want me to make it back for the 8, I got to run. So I'm gonna run. Okay. I will see you there.
All right, sounds good. All right, guys. So keep firing in questions about baseball or basketball. It is a really tough basketball slate to get different without doing some of these absolutely bizarre plays. And I'm not here saying they're great plays. I'm just saying that there is potential for that. There's potential for guys like Batum. I think like Zubac could easily see less minutes than they're expecting from him. Those minutes could go to Hartenstein, but they also very possibly Clippers could do what they did last year in the playoffs and go small, sort of force Cat to come away from the basket on defense, which is sort of like he does every time. But anyway, so that's my quick rundown and the guys who I'm using to get a little bit weird with it. Norman Powell is a guy we're taking a shot on. I just can't get anybody who thinks he's going to play more than 24 minutes. But I do think he's worth taking shots on. Absolutely. He completely fits into that. Dragic is good question, K9. I'm okay with Dragic. He fits the mold of the other guys I was talking about, basically. But I feel like we'll be owned at a percentage that is a little higher than that. Let's see. I don't love Zubac tonight. I do love attacking centers against them. I don't trust that he's necessarily going to stay out there the whole time doing it, and I think you're going to see some heart and stuff. I don't know what they're going to do, to be honest with you. They might go small with that weird lineup they ran last year in the postseason, and you'd think that's that they consider, right? You get Mark Morris fronting, and then everybody else rotating and just trying not to leave two of the shooters open because they're going to have some non-shooters on the court. I don't know. It's an interesting it's an interesting thought. I'm going to answer the some older questions. Interest in Bobby Witt Jr. at 2,300 at third base. The third base is loaded. I think third base and second base are just completely loaded today for me. So I'm not getting to any of it, but I like the price 2,300, but yeah, it's fine. It's totally fine. In a certain thing, you could even say as a cash game play, but like not the way I'm building. I don't think as I was saying before, I don't think Vanderbilt and McDaniels take away from each other. And we don't know what's going to be what, like in terms of who gets the extra run. So you could speculate and take a shot on McDaniels. I think that's really interesting, actually. It's another interesting route to go. Let's see. Coming on Kessler Edwards as your last play. I hope that's a joke. I really hope it's a joke. I can't believe that he's projected to play 14 minutes. Like, this feels like a DNP CD for Kessler Edwards for me. Maybe not. Maybe they'll do what they did last time. I don't know. I guess, you know what? Go with it. He's low enough owned, and if they're going to give him the run, I personally would rather take a shot with like Patty Mills he's 100 cheaper. I would probably rather take that shot and just hope he makes some threes. But Kessler Edwards has a route to minutes. That's true. They're going to play the game like it. I mean, they have to be up. I don't know, like, because they have to have their best five on the court most of this game, which means 40 plus minutes for Durant. Probably let's give him 42. Kyrie will be around 40. Bruce Brown will be around 40. Seth Curry will be around 32 probably. Andre Drummond and Claxton will split probably 48. Yeah. So how can you find much other time in that lineup? Like without something foul trouble or something like that, it's just hard for me to see how that works. Not to mention there's no usage to go around for anybody. W Fresh, I wish you would caught the beginning of the show because I was talking exactly about this thing that all of these guys are winning tournaments every day without stacking. And the stack should win almost all the time because that's what everybody does. So when they don't, that means everyone's really wrong to be stacking. So we got to take a little bit of that. In my main lineup on DK tonight, because I have a low-owned thing, I'm actually going with a 5-man stack at the moment. But I like the idea. Everywhere else, I'm pretty much doing some 4-2-2s, some 4-3-1s, some 3-3-2s. I think that's a really smart way to attack this early season because you're going to get some weird power things. Like last night, for example, if you didn't need a 5-man Oakland stack, you needed a 3-man Oakland stack. You know what I mean? And that was an extreme outlier too. Like we mostly are seeing these games that are low scoring, and you want to find a couple of good power bats that are in good spots. I think that's a really good way to go. I am not drinking up. I'm on a juice cleanse. How bad is that? You're having the time of your life out there in the 2-foot snowed in, and I'm out here in California having a juice cleanse. Jeez, it's all a goal to try to look like the old me by the time I'm by the time middle May comes around. I'm gonna have to move back, but I'm gonna have to shave my beard at some point too. I hate it right now. So anyway, that's all I got to talk about, guys. As far as the slate goes, ask any questions, pop in some other stuff. I'm with you, WB Fresh, and again, it's just a really there's nobody's right to say that you should always stack is not right. To say that you should never stack is not right. It's Mark. I'm feeling a little better because of my juice cleanse, so I'm definitely rolling the sun's out, guns out look today. And so any other questions, guys, really pop them in. I'm going to probably leave in like 10 minutes, but I'm here to answer and here to talk about anything in the meantime. It's always going to be quicker, the shows with baseball, because unless you're going game by game, which we do early in the day, it's really, you have your things, you have what you want to be on later in the day, you have the things, and really a lot of it's just questions after that. One stack we didn't talk that much about is Atlanta. I still like Atlanta quite a bit. And they have the easiest ways to get different with their stack. One of the things I like about them and St. Louis in general is that you can get different with these stacks and be totally fine. Like Atlanta's going to have ownership on Albies, Ozuna, probably d'Arnaud, some Riley. But Duvall and Swanson won't be owned. And nobody's going to play Matt Olson in a lefty-lefty. And it seems like something we should try and attack, guys. Seems like a good spot to try and attack. For a chalky stack to have a guy 1% owned who's their most powerful hitter and their best fantasy producer is always something you should look at regardless of handedness. Okay. Jose Siri is in the lineup. So we got the Houston lineup. That's going to actually change things, I think, because I'm guessing that means no Pena. No, Pena's batting 7th. I can live with Pena batting 7th. Especially in stacks, but we don't have the 2.3 catcher. We don't have Maldonado, but we do have Castro, who I prefer playing over Maldonado. So that actually makes me kind of happy. And I can just do my 1v1 swap and be ready to go. All right, let me just make sure it updated. Oh no, Jordan too. Ugh, F you. I definitely like the Houston stack less. Oh boy, what am I going to do now? Now this is when I need to get this stuff out, do this stuff off the air, because I do go into a long try to figure out what I can do to get weird and make sense. Oh my God. That really bums me out. He was a big part of what I liked here. It's pretty easy just to go Tucker instead, but is that what I want to do? Do I want to be in the 5-man stack without Jordan? Maybe. I'm honestly not sure as I sit here at this moment. I might even end up with a little bit of Cooper at first if I do that. So, all right, let me just make sure I don't have any other guys who aren't playing, because that's the only thing that really bothers, that tilts me sometimes from doing these shows, is like sometimes it is hard because you're trying to scramble and it's always tough to do that. But like it's really frustrating when you end up playing somebody who's not playing because you just missed something like that. All right, so I have my Houston guys on FanDuel all have to be changed. All right, I can do that as you guys ask me questions or something. Yeah, it's great to play teams that sucked like in the recent couple of days, because everybody hates doing it. Can you run through your pitchers again besides Darvish and Cobb at all? I didn't say much about Cobb, but he is another one for me. Mostly it's Hudson, Darvish. I do have some Lauer on FanDuel, and I have some Sandoval and some Luzardo, even though they have a terrible pitcher's umpire, which does make me a little nervous. So those are my other guys. All right. The thing is, Rody, the last time they didn't screw you. They screwed everybody. So that means like, it's exactly why I'm saying not, it's good to go back to them there. That Jordan Alvarez thing is really throwing me for a loop, because I had a great low-owned stack. And now I don't love that low-owned stack as nearly as much as I did. Shoot. Okay. I'm going to have to get to my NBA stuff before and just make sure I've got all my builds the way I want. I wish I could show them to you guys. Like I showed the early builds, but I will tell you my NBA build has not yet changed from the first build I posted. So for those of you who have those premium subscribers and everything, it's there. Any kid, you're just looking for a 2K guy, or are you trying to get him in a stack? I'm guessing you're just looking for 2K guy. Sure, if you just need a guy who's just flat 2K, yeah, there's only 2 of them, or only 3 of them, so he would probably be the one. But I don't think you need to do it. I don't like the catcher though, so I don't mind it. It's not a night where I mind punting it. The only thing I do like, where I'm not playing Hudson, I do think you should try to get the guy who's by far the best hitting catcher in baseball in your lineup, which is Salvador Perez. So that's where I'm at with that. It looks like people are starting to trickle out. Guys, I'm going to head out as well soon too. Oh, here we go. Oh, Adam asked that. I got that one. Oh, Cobb at all. That was the question. That's what happens when I read fast. Hey man, thanks a lot, buddy. I always appreciate hearing from you, WB Fresh. And yeah, man, I've been doing well. I hope you're doing well as well. And yeah, let's make some money, man. Guys, I'm going to leave you with that. And good luck to everyone tonight. If you guys have any questions, thoughts, ways we could improve anything, hit us up in the Discord channel, True DFS admin channel. And I'm sorry, not the admin channel, the True DFS. What is the name of the channel that I'm trying to actually talk about?
Support.
What's that?
Support. True
The
DFS support.
Excuse me, guys. Yeah, Mark popped in just to save me at the end there. Thanks, Mark.
No problem. I just wanted to throw one quick question out for anyone that's left listening. Not anything about sports, actually more about our content, our site. So I would love to see some suggestions for videos that you need me to put out about site navigation, about SaberSim basics, not the advanced stuff that Jordan's going to do with you guys, but like I know some basics to help people around. If you're having problems either navigating, there's some changes coming to our Discord. So if you have thoughts on channels or ideas, again, just keep the feedback coming so we can kind of add stuff to the roadmap and make sure we know what we should be working on next for y'all.
Sounds good. Well said, Mark. And guys, yeah, we really want to encourage that. We're doing this to try and make everybody better, and we want to have this be the best experience. So let us know what we can do to make things easier.
Also, I will plug my show On the Mark. There should be a second episode coming out this week. If you haven't checked out episode 1 on results tracking, go in. It's in our archives. I will find a permanent home for it somewhere, probably under Learn, since I'm still in the Learn phase myself of the game, but I'll be doing a different topic each week and making sure. So again, if you have ideas on things you want from a new player's perspective, feel free to post it and I'll give you whatever info I've learned from the guys so far.
Yeah, awesome, man. I actually enjoyed it. I watched the first one, so I'm ready for it, man.
Okay.
I think that people should check it out. It's a great way to see where maybe you're trying to like what you're trying to do, or maybe it's seeing what somebody else did where you were probably years ago, or maybe just weeks ago.
Yeah, part 2 is going to be all about the switch from NBA to MLB for me. So it's all about how to learn a new sport. Take what you learned from sport 1, apply it to sport 2, and then compile all the things I've already learned about sport number 2. So that should be going. I was going to record it Sunday. It's really hard to use Restream on a single monitor because there's no pause button. So if you're using Restream to record a video, you kind of can't pause. I edited it like 9 times and failed. So I have a second monitor that's working now. So I will plan to do the video, sometime this week. It'll be out before the weekend.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Mark, that's great, man. And I'll be obviously seeing you pretty shortly. Yeah. Mark, if you have any questions or any thoughts on the slate too, I'm happy to answer them. I don't have to go for another few minutes. If the questions dry up, it's always like what they used to tell us, like when we were doing live shows for the other site I was working for, not Roto Grinders, the other one. They would say to, just, if people start leaving or whatever, get out of there or whatever.
It's time to go. No, it's time to go. I think I'm okay. I'm trying to deal with this Houston news myself, so I've got to reconstruct some lineups that I had built. But
congrats, man! You've had some good results lately. That's awesome.
Yeah, like a couple of 35ths and 38s out of 15,000 people.
Oh my god!
So like that's a top 1% lineup that has a real chance of winning if I don't get an 0-for-4 Yadier Molina or one.
Yeah,
so I'm right there, man. I've got you're gonna see it. You're gonna see the GPP win happen probably the next week or two. I think.
I love that. I love to hear it, man. Well, I would encourage you to drop in a couple of single entries and the small buy.
Oh, I've got all the single entries, man.
Okay.
I've got all the single entries covered.
All right, sounds good, buddy. Well, I'll see you in a little bit. And everybody else, good luck tonight. I will be in the Discord. Thank you all very much. And we're